Sanbonani, Dumelang, Abusheni, Ihlikani, Imadambula Manene. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Sophia Butomi Mburi Yakachabalala, and welcome back to Second Chances with Sophia V. Study shows that in South Africa, 67% of children grow up in their life without their fathers in the household. While that is quite a sad number, more especially since that rate is the highest in the world. So what happens to those children as they grow up? How does not having a father in your life affect your well-being? How does it affect how you turn out in life? Well, today I at luck because I have a special guest with me. It's a young lady who will be sharing with us how growing up without having a father in her life has affected her from the point that he was alive, simply rejecting her, and after to a point whereby he actually passed away. Does she need closure? How has her life turned out to be? Does the presence of a father in a child's life matter? Well, we'll find out shortly. So please join me as I show you something special that she shot for us.
Dear Dad. Oh, did I say Dad? I didn't know that I could spell that way because I was never given a chance my whole life. I am 81% sure that you definitely know who I am. But just in case you forgot, my name is Miyelani Rikhotso, your daughter, I guess. I wrote this letter to tell you how I felt. Oh, I am sorry. I wanted to remind you about one of my childhood's memories, but I can't remember one where you were involved. My mind is blank and I can't think of anything. All I have is questions. But I am so sad knowing that you cannot answer any of them. Because heaven was not kind. Heaven was not patient. It took me away before I could officially meet you. Just because you are not here to answer all the questions, let me rather say, I forgive you. I forgive you for not being there when I needed you the most. One of the most hardest things I had to do in my life, to forgive you. I forgive you for not letting me be a daddy's girl. I forgive you for not letting me love you, just the way I wanted to love my daddy. And I also forgive you for not giving me love, one that a daughter deserves. I forgive you for the day you came to our school to fetch your other child and drove past me inside a crowd while I was walking home. Walking home, because that's all I knew, walking home. I had never been in my father's car. I forgive you for not protecting me when I was in trouble with those boys. And knowing that my brother was just my age, there was nothing he could do. I needed you. I didn't know who to call upon. I forgive you for not teaching me what to expect from a man. Because every time I see a man, I see an enemy. Someone that I have to defend myself from. I forgive you for the day I walked past you and you didn't recognize me. And after that day I wondered if you knew about my existence. I forgive you for all the birthdays that you missed. Your loss, I guess. I forgive you for not letting me have a relationship with my cousins because we just had to meet on the street like we were strangers. I forgive you for all the bad feelings I ever had. Resentment, anger, lack of confidence, fear of rejection, to name a few. I forgive you today, tomorrow, and forever. May your soul rest in peace.
Growing up without a father. Well, my lady, you wrote a letter that broke my heart into pieces. Please introduce yourself, tell my people who you are, and also tell us why you wrote the letter.
Thank you for having me. So far, this is the first interview I've ever had. So my name is Miyelani Rikhotso, aka Kerms. I'm a second born of Maria Shibambu and Jan Rikhotso. I was born and raised by a single parent because my dad was not in the picture. So growing up without a father was a bit hectic. Yeah, it was a bit hectic. Even though as a child, I just had questions because I could see other kids calling their fathers, saying my father will do this for me, my father will do that. And I didn't get to say that. So I remember, I think I was 5. My mom just told me that I once asked her a question. And I wanted to know why we were not staying with my father like other kids. So she didn't even know what to say. But I thought it was normal. Until I grew up, I think I was in high school when I started to feel the void. And that was because I went to a high school where my dad lived, at the place where my dad lived. So everyone, when I got there, they were like, oh, you look like your dad. Oh, you're tall, like you have a long neck like your dad. So everything about me reminded them of my dad, even teachers. So every day when I walk in a class, I'm reminded of my dad. Everything I do, I'm reminded of my dad. So I started to think about it and a lot, and I felt like, yeah, this person should have been in my life, and this is normal. What my life is not normal. So from there, from the questions, obviously it's
it built up something.
Yes, and I was not a happy child from there because I felt like I needed to have both parents. And I feel like I was robbed of my childhood and my rights, because as a child, you don't want to be feeling like you are a burden to your parent. But now, because my mom was the only person who was taking all the responsibilities, I felt like this is enough that she's already doing, and I can't tell her that I need this. So that took away my confidence in high school. And even when I didn't have maybe school shoes, like my uniform was not proper, but I couldn't go to her and be like, Mom, please add t-shirts, I need this, I need that. I felt like she was already doing a lot for me. So I was robbed. That's the first thing. And then secondly, lack of protection. I think having a father in your life, you feel protected. A man should be there in your life so that you can feel protected wherever you go. So like I said that I was a second child. I am a second child. My brother is 2 years older than me. So we both needed protection. And there was no way that I would go to my brother and cry about boys bullying me at school. And knowing very well that my dad was around, alive, it was so painful. Very painful.
So did you grow up knowing who your father is?
I grew up knowing who my father is. I saw him on the street, and you know what? He was a bit famous. He was a bit famous because everyone around that area knew him. And people will tell me how funny he is. People will tell me how crazy he is. And you know how I wanted to meet the man. The first time I met him, it was at his mother's funeral, my grandmother. And yeah, I was told that I should go to the funeral because my grandmother had passed away. Blah 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 blah. And I went there, but I couldn't feel anything. I felt I was numb. I didn't feel like I was related to the person who passed on, and I think that's the most painful thing to feel. Like your grandmother had passed on, and you don't know her. I didn't even know her face, and they were not living far away from where I live because I could walk to that area. Even when I go to school, I used to walk. So it was not far, but my dad never made attempts to come and see us. So I didn't take you back. Let me take you back a bit. My mom and dad were married before I was born, and then my brother was born. Then my mother fell pregnant for the second time, and she was still in high school. So I don't know what happened between the two of them. What I heard is that my mom kept the pregnancy a secret a bit because my dad was troublesome. I don't know what he was doing, but he was just troublesome, and my mom felt like, I'm not going to tell him. He's going to use this to against
cause
me.
More problems.
Yeah, to cause more problems. Like, you have a small child and you have another one coming. Why didn't you go for contraceptives and all that? Because my brother was still young. So my mom was scared to tell my dad. So I think by the time he found out, he made a whole lot of noise about it, asking her, why did you tell me immediately, blah blah blah. And then he further on said that I was not his child.
So I recall incidents when after I was born, incidents where we were doing paternity tests and all that. And yeah, and for a child my age, I think I was 5 when we went for paternity tests. I think that's not the experience a child should go through.
Why we're doing this video, but wow, okay. There's DNA tests also when you go to maternity court of late. Most of the time, when the father is disputing the paternity of the child, you might be asked to do DNA test. And I always honestly thought that doing a DNA test will take away the budget. It basically will solve the problems.
Yeah.
But in your case, it didn't. And I've never thought of it from the receiving end of the child.
Yeah.
Please just dwell on that a little bit further. How did it affect you? How did you feel knowing? I'm quite interested because you were 5 years old. I would imagine you wouldn't remember it, but it is somehow engraved in your memory, meaning that it might have had an impact in your life.
Yeah, I remember everything from the injection they put on me. And the fact that I am a low blood type of person. I didn't have enough blood and they had to press and press. So the fact that they had to make me go through that just because my mom wanted to clear things out. I lived with anger my whole life towards my dad. And every day I was hoping that he will come around to explain to me, why did you do that? Why did he do whatever he did? And he never did. And when I remember the days I met him, like I said in the letter, the first time I met him was at the funeral, right? And then the second time, when I was a little girl, I don't remember, they say he used to come, but I don't remember that. But when I was like now older, I remember when he came to fetch his other child, because after the breakup with my mom, he got married to another woman and they have a child. I think the child is same age as me, if not younger by a few months. So he came to fetch the child and I saw her in the car, you know, watching your daddy's car and daddy's girl, which is not you. The car is moving and he can't even see me. He doesn't even see me. Like it was like I was invisible. And to tell you the truth, I don't know if he knew that I was in the same school, or even if he knew, he just didn't care. So those are the questions I had for him. I was like, when I finish school, I'm gonna go face this man. I want him to explain. Because the other incident that I also wrote in the letter was when I walked past him. He was sitting with, I think, 3 gentlemen. They were drinking, ne? And I just passed by. I remember greeting, but he never stopped me like, hey girl, are you so and so? Like, he didn't even recognize me. Yeah, he didn't even recognize me because he didn't see that I was his child. So I grew up with anger, with resentment, with lack of confidence. Like I said, that I didn't have like the best of things and I couldn't ask my mom. But lucky enough, after the paternity test was done, it was proven that I was his child. And amongst all my father's children, I'm the only one who is sure. And I think that's the positive thing I picked up, because I know for sure that that man was my father. Whether he was not there or he was there, he was my father. So yeah, we found out that I was his and he started maintaining us. So he was there financially, yes, but then he was never there emotionally and he didn't even know us. Maybe he did know my brother, but with me, I think with my case, he thought a baby girl doesn't need a father. I think so. So he never came to see us. He never came to check on us. He never knew my shoe size. He never knew my birthday. I wondered if he knew my name, but he did because he gave me the name, I guess.
Since you have a brother, do you think that your brother felt the same way that you did? Did you ever have conversations because you shared the same parents?
My brother was affected deeply, and for him, it was understandable. So I think what's more painful for me is that it's like a daughter doesn't need a father. You don't need to cry for your father. Why do you want this man in your life? A boy child is the only person who needs him. So I lived my whole life being put aside of this. everyone was like, no, we understand your brother's situation. He doesn't have a father. And people wanted to play a father figure in his life. My uncles came through. They spoke to him about what boys go through. But then I never got to have a father figure or somebody coming to me and be like, play with me like the way it's...
Wow, we really hit a nerve there. We really hit a nerve. You know, in our communities, we grew up being told that it takes a village to raise a child. But what does this village refer to? Is it only referring to Abu Mama, females being there for other girl children? In terms of the male figure, girls also need males. You know, in instances whereby the father is not there, a girl also needs a male to step up and play that fatherly role. And I'm quite saddened to learn that you did not have that male role model in your life. And because of that, how do you feel that it affected your relationships going forward with other men that you have in your life? I mean, you've grown right now, you are married. How has not having not only a father figure but a male role model in your life affected you?
I think when I was it affected me so bad in a negative way, because I said I don't need a man in my life. I remember telling my mom, I think I was 19 or 20, telling my mom that marriage is not for me. I'm not gonna get married. So my mom was like to me, why? She was so concerned, and she did think that, okay, maybe I'm saying this because I see her as a single parent and now I'm seeing her as my role model. So she wanted to shift that a bit on me. So she was like to me, being a married woman is a good thing. If you do get a chance, grab it. Because I didn't choose to be a single parent, and it doesn't mean it's nice. And the fact that I don't show you guys what I go through doesn't mean it's nice. So she didn't want to go deeper, but she advised me that I should consider getting married one day. But I lived with it. I was like, I'm not going to get married. I don't need a man in my life. My mom is okay. And then when I met the father of my child, now my husband, I used to tell him that I don't need a man. I don't need a husband. We are dating and that's all. And the only thing I wanted was a child, because all I wanted to be a single mom and raise my child. So I think it played a huge role, because the fact that I grew up and I'm this person, I lack nothing, and I didn't have a father. What harm will that make on my kids? You understand? I thought that was normal until I started to check YouTube videos. I wanted to heal, because I knew that what I thought was normal was not normal, and I had to do something about it. So I used to watch Oprah Winfrey. There are videos that they do on YouTube about fatherlessness, how it can damage you as a person if you allow it, and all that. How can you heal from it? So I followed everything that they said. And the letter was one of them, because they said you should write the letter, accept your situation, write the letter to that person, and that's the journey to your healing. So I think I was in first year when I started to follow YouTube videos and try to seek my healing, and fortunate enough I did. Even though I'm not completely healed, I know that I now see a man differently. And when my man wanted to marry me, I took the chance and I was happy, and I'm still happily married. And sometimes I look at myself in the mirror and be like, is this true? Because I'm now able to defend a man. I'm now able to know that a man too has feelings, a man too can love, a man too can be there, can be a parent to a child. And I sometimes let it be, like with him and my son. Sometimes I don't even interfere. My son will come back and be like, I'm hungry. Mama. And I'll just say, go to daddy. Yeah, so now I let him be the parent that my dad was never to me. So my child will come running, Mom, I need this. And I'll say, go to daddy. And daddy will do it. You know, and I'm so glad I'm finally living that normal that I've always wanted in my life, and I was never given a chance. So I think it affected me negatively in the beginning, but then I picked up myself, and now I'm moving forward. And I'm a different person now. I believe in marriage.
No, you said something very, very, very powerful, which I feel like most people could definitely learn from. It started bad for you, but you took charge of your healing. You healed yourself from a pain that you never caused yourself. That is the saddest thing that one has to go through, but it's very necessary. It is very, very necessary. You had to forgive. You had to let go of the anger. By you forgiving, it helped you. It helped you. That is very, very important, and I love it. And you touched on something that you never fully heal.
Yes.
But healing comes in different stages. So that is the most important thing, to start. And just take it every step as it comes. And I really, 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 really love you. So if there is someone, I know there are a lot of children out there that did not grow up with a father figure in their lives. They feel empty. You had a loving mother in your life. You had a sibling, but yet you still had that void. There's someone out there, their situation is similar to yours. Their situation is half close to yours, but the most important thing is that they do not have a father figure in their lives. What can you advise someone who has that emptiness in their lives?
I'm so scared to say this because I know how painful this is for you. And for me to say that just heal and move forward, it's impossible. So what I can say is accept. The first thing to do is accept. Accept the situation. Accept who you are. That's you. That's your life. That's how it was supposed to be. If your parents are not together and one of them is not there in your life, it's not your fault. But you need to accept, live with it. And it's not about you. It's about them. Know that for sure. It's not about you.
It's not about you. You are worthy to be loved. You deserve the love. You had it first hand on from someone who has been through this. If you are someone who did not grow up with your father, that does not have to be there. You do not have to carry on the routine or the situation. You can break it. I love how you've allowed yourself to love, how you've allowed yourself to be loved, and you've allowed your child, more especially you are raising a boy child. You are raising a boy child once again. So he's someday going to grow up and also become a man. You are allowing yourself. I really, really have to command you as we are
to add on to that one. Another thing is you have people around you, and they may not be that person, but they can play the role. So just open your eyes and see people in your life who support you. We have this thing of because he's not the one, because this is not my biological father, then I'm not gonna allow him to do this. I'm not gonna let him. I need that biological father. Even if he passed on, there are people who would be like, my dad passed on, so why am I still living? If there is an uncle or someone in the family, someone in the community playing the role, allow them to take over. It's okay.
I love it. If you're not getting goosebumps like I am, then I don't know. There is something wrong with you. You are the problem, because I'm all up in my feels. Well, I know I lost my dad to suicide, and he was in my life for a period of 12 years. But for that short period that I had him in my life, I felt his love to the fullness. So even after he died, I feel that I did not have that emptiness of not having a father. I just held the emptiness of having lost my father to suicide. And with you, you had not yet experienced that love. Did your father dying have any impact in your life?
Going back to that, you know, I still wish I was given a chance to mourn. By who? I don't know, because I was numb. During, you know what happened, how I found out about my father's death. I was at school, sitting in class. I was in grade 11, and then this other girl, I was used to sitting with her, and she lived, I think she was my dad's neighbor by then. We knew that my dad was sick. And we once went, there was an arrangement that we should go and see him because he's very sick, you know. But then we couldn't see him because when we got there, my stepmom said he was not there. Okay, story for another day. I didn't get to see him until that day when that girl came to me. She was like, "Are you still here?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And then she just told me, like, "Your dad passed away and he's still at school. You should go there." I didn't know how to respond.
I can imagine.
And you know the most painful thing about this, she thought I didn't deserve to feel the pain. Because I mean, if it's somebody's parent who passed on, would you just go there and tell them that your mom passed on today, she died? Like where do you get the guts? So according to her, I think if I was living with my dad, she would never have done that. So according to her, I didn't deserve to be feeling the pain of the loss. You understand? So how I found out, and when I got home, obviously I got the support from my mom and my brother was there. They immediately told us to go there because my aunt was already at my dad's place. But we were not welcomed because that was my stepmom's home. You know, so we didn't even sleep throughout the funeral. We just went every day to check the progress of the funeral arrangement. And then after the funeral, it was amen. Amen.
You know, I think that's another important thing to consider in terms of, you know what, the stepmother, she needed to, she picked up from however the treatment that your father gave you. She could not have acted any differently if your father treated you the way that he did.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you got to go to the funeral. You got to go and say your farewells. Do you feel like you got your closure?
I didn't. At the funeral, I didn't get the closure. And when I was supposed to be feeling the loss of a father, I was angry that why did he die now? Because my plan was to finish school and go face him. So it was like, it was the end of me. My whole life was shattered because why am I still living? Because why am I still going to school? Because my reason for going to school, for working hard and wanting to become somebody in life was for me to be bold enough to go and face him. You know, when you have like some sort of like a dignity, you can face a person. So I was working very hard for that, so that I can go and face him. And then now this person passed away. So I'm looking at the coffin, I'm like, but why? So I was angry more than mourning.
Wow, yeah. This was quite an emotional interview, if I have to say, but I really appreciated you coming through and the willingness for you to open up about this whole experience. I hope if there's a father somewhere out there, you can see what you not being present in your child's life what effect it can possibly have. Whether your child is male or whether your child is female, irrespective of their age, your actions does impact their lives. And now, as we are counting down, this is a month whereby we are celebrating Father's Day. I know that there are a lot of children that will be triggered on Father's Day. I actually read something the other day. There was a post that I saw on Twitter. Some boy said, you know what, it's quite easy to celebrate Mother's Day because you know you won't see your mother on someone's timeline. You won't see anyone claiming your mother is our mother,
Yeah.
you know. But when it comes to Father's Day, wow, it's a mess. It's wild, you know. And it's quite sad because it's such a small world. Kids will end up marrying each other, not even knowing that they're related by blood. But you know what? Let me stop wobbling and going around. Any final words that you would like to share to someone out there, to share to a father on Father's Day? Yes, I want us to end this in a good note. Had you gotten a chance to finally sit down with your dad, had you gotten a chance, now seeing your husband interact with your son, and you know what a father is supposed to do with or to their child, what message would you like to give responsible fathers? What message would you like to give someone out there? If it was your dad, I know you've written the letter, but it was from a place of pain.
Yeah.
If you had that excitement, what message would you give them? Please look into the camera and give us some love.
I want to say that to fathers, I want to say that you matter. You are important. You know, a mom alone is not enough, but you being there, it means a lot to your kids. You might not see it now, but hey, I know, I've seen it through my baby's eyes. You matter. You're the most important person, equally. So yeah, if you are fatherless like myself, on Father's Day, do not go to social media. Social media will stress you out. So just find something to do. Keep yourself busy. I like doing shopping on that day. I like reading on that day. And I don't go into my phone, especially Facebook, because you see people posting their fathers and then you'll be like, where's mine? So if your dad is no more, don't go to social media on Father's Day. Find something to do and then enjoy. Love yourself. That's all that matters.
Oh, thank you. That was lovely. Thank you. And before we wrap this up, she is also a YouTuber. Please tell us how people can get hold of you and your YouTube handle. Advertise yourself. 1, 2, 3, go.
So I'm a YouTuber. I speak about all things women, and you guys will understand why women. I was raised by a woman, so I believe in a woman. So yeah, I speak about all things women, beauty, fashion, and a lifestyle. So you can check me out at Miyelani Rikhotso. Yeah, Miyelani Rikhotso on YouTube, and then it's Miyelani_Rikhotso 1 on Instagram. And please do follow me and say hi in the DM.
Okay, so that's it from me. Thank you for tuning in. Hope to see you again soon. But first, remember to like, share, subscribe, comment, and subscribe. Please go cause some trouble on her YouTube. Please. See you again soon. I love you.
Hey, Janice Belan.
Yeah.
I have the mic on.